Welcome to MarketWise Live, the real estate edition, the podcast that gives you the hard facts behind what's going on in real estate. Realtor Mike.Freeman, a Coldwell Banker realtor who holds an MBA in finance, draws from his financial background and his deep network to bring the most value for anyone looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest. And once again, this is David Yaz with the Boston Podcast Network, pod617.com, our Westwood studios. I'm lucky to have Realtor Mike.Freeman in the studio with me right now, as he was 2 weeks ago. Wow, that 2 weeks really flew by, didn't it, Mike?
Seems like minutes.
We recorded episode 1 with a terrific guest, and she's back for another one, thank goodness, because there's still a lot to say. Mike, if you would take us in and remind people who we're chatting with today.
Sure. So today we have Anya Costa from ID Inc.
Thank you.
Maybe I prematurely paused there, but again, the audience is a little sleepy still.
I know.
That's okay.
I got to work on it. The doldrums of winter are already setting in, I guess. Come on, audience. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, there. Nice, loud and proud. Okay.
But you're right about, just real quickly about winter. I wake up this morning and there's a little snow on my car and on my lawn.
Yeah.
You know?
Who'd have thunk it?
But we are
soon.
in December. Technically it's fall. Yes. We are in December. It was bound to happen.
Was it supposed to be like 9 inches?
I think in certain spots they predicted a lot more, but I don't think they did here. But
No,
I don't know.
it was just very disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay, so we have Anya Costa. Anya is back. She did a great job in the first episode, and I think that she definitely opened up my eyes and thinking about what my office space is like. And I was thinking about some of my office spaces that I used to have, too, as you went through that. What I want to talk about in this episode is more about what your company does, what you and your company do, how you work with customers. So the first question is, how do you get your customers? What do you do for marketing, and how do you get people?
I'm lucky because a lot of my customers come from referrals. People hear about me, they see my work, and they want to get in touch with me. Also, Facebook. And through recommendations, people tend to say, I've seen your name, I heard about you, can we talk?
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of marketing. I'll put stuff on Instagram sometimes just to kind of showcase a little bit of stuff that I do so people can see. But majority of the work is really through people.
Okay. I'm curious, and Dave, I'm curious about you as well. Do you guys ever do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and those paid ads? Because I do, and I'm not sure if I get anything from them, if they're worthwhile.
I did Facebook ads, I think once or twice on one of my projects, thinking, let's see what happens with it. It worked a little bit. I think I got a little bit more views, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's how I get my clients.
I had pretty much the same experience. I've tried it because Facebook does a nice job of promoting what it can do for you and how many people you're going to reach, and even slicing up the demographics and stuff. But yeah, bang for your buck, Facebook ads. You're probably going to be disappointed, in my experience.
That's what I've found, and so I might start to get away from them. But okay, sorry for that tangent. That's what I do. I do tangents. Anyway, let's get back to Anya and her company. So, okay, so that's how you get your customers. So let's say I'm one of those people who call you. Dave referred me to you. He had a great experience with you, and my home office is subpar, and I'm doing more and more work as a realtor at home rather than in the office, which is something that we see. We see that every day. So I call you and I'm just kind of lost. I'm like, Anya, I don't know what to do. Like, how do you work with those people?
It's funny you should ask that. I have a client right now I'm doing a home office for, so I'm happy to educate. We talk about a lot of things. So I do take meetings first. I want to understand who I'm working with. I have to understand the person I'm dealing with, because I understand their work. For you, it will be real estate, but I have to understand how you function on a daily basis. What things need to be around your office space and around you, so for easy grabbing, for better, productive, more creative work. If you're looking for creativity, productivity, whatever, and that's something that we talk about. I need to understand what it is that you do, and what is your pain points right now, and how do we adjust that so that in the end your space becomes something that becomes easy and you don't have to think about it. And you can do your best work in that. So it's an intake interview, number one. We discuss a lot of things about your work, how you function. We'll talk about a little bit about your background. A lot of times your background affects what you like. And you talked about happy days in the last episode. That would be a point of information for me.
Okay.
Like what that's kind of a fun element that I would want to introduce into your office, maybe.
Interesting.
And as an
Picture
accessory.
Fonzie?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe a big poster in the back for the Zoom calls. No. And so I kind of understand personality and what it is they really need and where the pinpoints are. And so once I have that, I draw a 3D model for them so that they understand and see. A lot of people are visual people. They can't understand or comprehend, even though I see pretty quickly what needs to be done. And whatever I see doesn't mean that my client sees. And so I need to make sure that they understand it. And we go back and forth. And part of that process is let's bring your personality, let's bring some of those intentions that we need to have into the space. And then natural lighting is important. The lighting for your Zoom calls is important if you have them. What kind of, if you need books, if you need, how easy it is for you to grab for your pen, how easy it is for you to grab for your notepad or any of those things, shredders, whatever it is that you need. So we really kind of walk through the details of your office.
Okay.
And then we create a space and then we go back and forth. And
So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So I would be willing to bet that for a lot of people, when you go through that, well, first of all, I'm trying to put myself in that position, and that's not what I would expect. And I think it's great that you do that. This would just be very eye-opening to me. And you'd be pointing out things that I would say my initial reaction might be, well, what is that? Why does that matter? What does that have to? So you must find that a lot. You must find, I don't know if resistance is the right word, but you probably find that people, that's just an eye-opening thing.
Yeah, I don't, a lot of times I don't just come out and ask those things because it is an personal information that I'm looking for in order to create an office for you. I can create an office for anyone really, but when I'm creating an office for a particular individual and particular job and in particular intention, that needs to be, I need to understand who you are as a human being.
Right.
So if it's not, hey, tell me more about your childhood, what trauma did you live? No, none of that, but just very subtle information that helps me create a space. And then the other thing, very important that I do want to mention is that what kind of work you want to do in the future. Okay. It matters because the way we set up our space is how we're going to function and how we're going to be. So if you want to be the CEO of your company, or you want to move up, or you want to have X amount in revenue this year, we need to talk about that and recognize what is it that you need to do in order to get there, and how do we set this all up so that intentionally we are creating a space that with a goal for you to hit those numbers.
So I was actually just going to ask about goals. So it's interesting that you use that word. So thinking about what I do, a big part of what makes a realtor successful is somebody who just sits there on the phone and calls people. It could be cold calling, it could be people you know, it could be people you do business with, but we always talk about, are you on the phones? Are you talking to people? So I guess my question would be, do you feel like if you were setting up the optimal space for me or any other realtor, that it's going to help us achieve those goals? I think I know the answer, but I want to hear.
Yeah, I think when you're on the phone, we all hear our intentions. When I'm smiling, you can hear that.
Yes.
And so by creating a space that gives you a comfort or lightness or happiness, that naturally you're going to be in a positive mood, that's going to affect the way you're going to speak on the phone and what you're going to say, right? If you are perceiving to be a luxury realtor and you want to be in the surroundings that produces this kind of luxury, so that you feel like like you're sitting in a luxurious environment, because that's what we exude, right? So we set up a space that helps you become who you want to be.
So it's going to help you achieve your goals. I mean, this is all, I never really thought about this stuff. To me, it's like, okay, sit in front of my computer. I have some things I like on the walls. And I now use my logo as my background, which maybe is too much. And then I just go. I just do what I need to do. But this is just stuff that I would imagine a lot of people never even think about.
I don't think it's subconscious. So
Yeah.
we feel things, but we don't know really why we feel things.
Right.
We don't perceive the things that are surrounding us. Like we don't understand why I'm feeling like I'm surrounded. When I go to a dentist, I always bring this intention. You go to a dentist, you sit down. It's like a sensory overload, right?
Yeah.
You have this noisiness happening. You have the smell of chlorine. You have the bright light in your face. Like, you're not going to feel great.
Right.
This is not meant to be a hotel spa type
Right.
of feel, right? We're going to be a little bit nervous, no matter how comfortable, how much you love your dentist, and I do love my dentist, but I still get nervous when I go in, and because all of this is kind of doesn't, and also, by the way, you're sitting down on a kind of raggedy
weird chair.
Yeah, it's not comfortable. It's meant to be that way, right? It needs to be clean.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't have to be gray clean. It has
Right.
to be white and gray and beige.
Right.
We can create a space that makes people more calm in the environment. So I think all of that matters, right? What are we telling our brain to really feel?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's very clear from both of these episodes. You're very passionate about what you do and how important the psychology is, and that you don't just come in and create a nice space. That's not what you do. What do you do if you have somebody, let's just say, this would never happen with me, but let's just say I get a referral from Dave, and then I come to you and we have that consultation, and then I come back and I say, Anya, I like some of the stuff you said. Some stuff makes sense, but I just don't see how it's really going to have a big impact. Like someone who's just really skeptical and resistant, and I know you're not going to try to take somebody and transform them, but how do you deal with that and allow somebody to see that it really can help them if they're resistant at first?
It's such a good question, because I have that a lot, and it's not so much it's the resistance, it's the fear of change. What I see is that a lot of people get used to their spaces the way they are. They lived in their kitchens for 30 years, and it makes sense for them. It's old. It needs to be changed. Then when we sit down and have this initial conversation, they'll tell me, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. I always bump into my husband. We can't be in the same place. We can't cook together. And those are the things that I'm noticing right off the bat. This is the things that I need to change. I need to change the concept. They want to cook together. They cannot do that. They're aggravating the heck out of each other because they're constantly bumping into each other. This is not a fun experience.
Sure.
So besides just changing the cabinets and keeping the same layout, I'm thinking about how do they interact in the space? How do
I like that.
Yeah. How do I want them to live together, and how do I get them the results that they want? And so and when people come in and there's a particular element, people come in and they get nervous about it and say, I don't think this is right. So to me, it means that I'm not quite getting it through, and maybe there's something else they're looking for. I need to dig a little bit deeper, and I need to understand what is it that they're looking for. What is the language and that I'm missing? And when we I go back and say, hey, tell me more. What is it that doesn't make sense for you?
Yeah.
Where are we going to find this common ground? Because you obviously called me. You like what I do.
Right.
I'm a professional. I'm going to help you. And my clients are always the first thing I think about.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be happy because I'll finish my space. I'll walk away. They get to live in it.
Right.
So whatever I do, they're going to live their life like that. And so for me, it matters. So we talk and we communicate until we find the common ground, until we get to the point, right? Like you talk about in psychology that you always peel the onion. There's
Right.
many layers.
Absolutely.
It's not always, hey, my cabinets are old and I need to fix them, right? No, there's an actual issue that underneath it all that needs to be changed.
And I would imagine different things are going to come up in subsequent conversations. It's not all going to come up in that initial consultation that you talked about. Maybe as you do one room, someone starts to realize some things that they previously didn't and therefore didn't mention to you. I mean, do you find that too?
Yeah, I actually kind of goes to initial conversation. Hey, I need a new kitchen. Okay, well, your kitchen is kind of next to your living room and the dining room. And if we maneuver in the change in the kitchen, it's going to affect your living room and dining room. And how do those two spaces interact with the kitchen now? Mm-hmm. So how do we make sure that all of this makes sense together? Because if I change the kitchen, and I don't change the issues that are happening in the living room and the dining room, this particular client that I'm thinking about right now wanted to interact with their clients. They love entertaining. They want to have people over. They want to have family, friends, clients, everybody to come. And they didn't have that interaction, right? So they actually needed a bit more open space from the kitchen to the living room.
Okay.
And that was a conversation. Say, hey, I'm going to change this, but it's going to affect everything else. We need to go into in the adjacent rooms. We need to make this flow better. So from your experience, from the moment you're walking up to your staircase is a transformative one.
Yep. It just seems like, and I try to apply this too to what I do. It seems like education and conversation is just really the key to, you're not trying to convince somebody to do something they don't want, but the more you educate people and the more you talk to them and hear what their wants and needs are, the better you're able to do your role and serve their needs and make them happier.
Absolutely. I do not force people into anything.
Yeah.
That's one of the things my master's in psychology helped me. It's that if they don't want to do something, whatever you do, they're not going to be happy with.
Yeah.
So they have to be happy with the decision. They have to own that decision.
Right.
So if we're not there as in our relationship, we need to figure this out.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Fantastic. And I think that, well, I'm going to become a customer, and I'm not just saying that. Like, that seems like the kind of thing somebody might say on the podcast. Okay. But no, I really am, because you have opened my eyes quite a bit in these 2 episodes, and I'm just sitting here thinking I could probably improve my space quite a bit.
I think all of us can improve our spaces. Even my house probably needs a lot of work too.
Yeah. No, that's great. So I want to thank you for both of these episodes, and you've been a fantastic guest.
Thank you.
And I think in addition to opening up my eyes, you've opened up a lot of other eyes, and I think people are going to start to think about what their house, what their office looks like, and how they can work with you, because you have such a unique approach. You're not just the typical interior designer, and that's what I want people to come away with, that you are different in a very good way. So thank you very much, Anya.
Thank you so much for having me. It was
you're
an
welcome.
amazing time.
Good.
Really had a good time.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, before we go, do we have time for more about Mike? Mike?
I think we have to.
I think we need to give the listeners what they want. So
yeah,
here's the segment we call More About Mike.
More about Mike.
More about Mike.
More about Mike.
And in this segment, we have a question for Mike and for his guests, so we'll get to hear from Anya as well. And as we do, we'll spin the wheel. Round and round it goes. Only Lady Luck knows where it will stop. And the question is, okay, very good, Will. Sometimes it gets a little out of control. Here's the question of the day. Who is your favorite teacher and why? So this could be any time during the course of your life, going all the way back to kindergarten or whatever, right up through university, as it were. Mike, would you like to go first, or let our guest go first?
I guess this time I'll go first. I don't want to put too much pressure on her and make her do it twice in a row.
Right.
So I do feel fortunate that I had a lot of great teachers over the years, but when I get this question, it's really just an instant response, because I know exactly who it's going to be. And it's going to be my chemistry and physics teacher in high school, Mr. Chick. He had a unique name. He would focus on that too. But Mr. Chick was just phenomenal, and I think he was just very beloved by everybody. And what made him unique and special is that he really looked at us as human beings, treated us like adults. He left the room when there were tests because he said, I trust you. And there was never.
That's why you got such a high grade in the class.
I guess so, yeah. So he was just somebody, and he would teach us about things that sometimes it'd be a little segment that had nothing to do with chemistry or physics. And I just remember feeling that he really got it. He really got that we're at this age now, we're in high school, we're becoming adults, and he treated us that way. And for the most part, I don't think most teachers do. So he just had that gift.
Did you ever let him know that he was such a good teacher? Maybe.
Yeah. So we always used to say that in high school, we'd say, we play cards, we play poker. We want you to play with us because we really liked it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, nope, after you graduate. So we did. We invited him.
Come on, this is great.
Yeah, we invited him after graduation at some point. and we went to his house, and we played poker.
And he robbed you blind. You came out $5,000 lighter that night. No,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still paying for it.
it was all a big scam. No, that's really cool. I mean, that must have been a cool night for you. But can you imagine what a great feeling that teacher must have gotten, knowing that this is how comfortable my students, how much they appreciate what I've been doing all these years.
Yeah. Before us, I remember he was nominated for like a Teacher of the Year in the United States, not just in our area. And so, but very modest guy too, very, very modest, and would like to make jokes about himself. And he's just a real guy, and he's still alive.
Is that right? I was going to ask, but I assume maybe he was no longer with us. That's cool.
He's well into his 90s, but he's still alive.
All right. What time's the poker game? Let's go.
I know. And I got to call him. This reminds me. I have his phone number. I have to call him.
That's great.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm glad you brought him up on the podcast. This is what happens on your podcast, Mike. Magic.
You just never know.
Yep. Anya, how about you? What teacher do you remember?
Well, first of all, let me say that my grandmother was a teacher and my mother is a teacher.
Oh.
So I have to
Those
say
are technically your favorite teachers.
they are my favorite teachers. They taught me a lot, and they reinforced a lot of the behavior that I enforce my kids on right now. But in high school, I had Ms. Goldstein. She was ESL teacher, English as a second language, and they originally wouldn't give me a placement there because of all the shows I've watched at home and learned English. I could speak it, but gosh, I couldn't read all right.
Okay.
But you could speak like Lucille Ball for some reason.
Exactly, and like that 50th day. Ricky! Yeah, and so she advocated, and she was an amazing force. She was a support system for all of us. It wasn't just me, but there's a lot of kids that were under her care, and really was an incredible woman. She taught us the national anthem, things that people coming in high school, the kids learning this in kindergarten, we didn't know this. So she really brought in this American culture that we were completely missed for all of those years. And she introduced it to us, and potluck was a new thing for us. We didn't, like, a lot of kids came from Asian countries, and it was me. I played badminton also in high school because of that. Yeah, varsity badminton team.
Come on, that's great.
Yeah, but she was really an amazing force, introducing us to United States.
I've always wondered this: a teacher like that, you say, introducing you to American culture to some extent, right? Was there a point where she said, "Okay, these are the words you need to know that Americans say all the time"? Awesome. Far out. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what nowadays it would be 6, 7 or something.
Yeah.
She told me what not to say.
Yeah, that's important
American
too.
swear words.
Yeah, because you're learning words in English that are different than the two other languages I speak, and so when I listen to it on TV, I'm like, oh, that's okay. I think I can call people that because I heard that, and no, you can't. And I was told that I should not be saying those names and those words.
That's very important to know both sides of this.
Yeah. I was told I can't curse, so I'm not going to mention the words.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, that's keeping it classy on the podcast. Yes. Imagine there are kids in Europe right now learning English by watching South Park and The Simpsons, and you can imagine the kind of stuff they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you hope that we're listening to MarketWise Live, the real estate edition.
That's right.
That's hopefully what they're listening to, where they
learn your English from this.
Yeah.
We speak wicked good English.
Wicked.
Well, tremendous job, Anya. Those are 2 great stories, guys. Appreciate it. And Anya, if you could although we did it last episode, remind our listeners where they can get in touch with you, learn more about your practice and your business.
Absolutely. My email is design@anyacosta.com, ANYACOSTA. My website is www.anyacosta.com, ANYA again. I have to spell it out because people don't know proper spelling sometimes for my website. And Instagram, anyacosta.design.
Very good, Mike. And if you could please tell our audience where they find you.
Sure. Well, I would have guessed Anya is ANYA. So, mine.
But you had great teachers like Mr. Chick. Not everybody did.
That's right. 617-759-1513 is my phone number. Mike.Freeman at nemoves.com is my email, and MikeFreemanHomes.com is my website. I just want to take a moment to recognize Anya and thank Anya. You really did a phenomenal job. It was just such an easy flow, and I enjoyed learning more about your business, because that's what it's about. Is I don't know everything you do, so I want to learn more about you and your business. And so I thank you for doing that and for just being a phenomenal guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Very good. Tremendous job, Anya. You were great. I hope you come back in the future at some point. And to everyone, thank you for listening to the podcast. You can find the show on YouTube, on Mike's YouTube channel, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your pods. We'll see you next time on MarketWise Live, the Real Estate Edition. Thanks, everybody.